up, Sabrina, we have Clay Parrish, and um, Clay joined the National Pork Board in October as the show pig industry relations manager. He works closely with producers across the country. And one of the aspects that he values most about his role is the opportunity to connect with people throughout the swine industry and experience something new every time he hits the road. Clay was raised on a purebred Duroc farm, and he's been involved in the swine industry since an early age. And he brings that firsthand knowledge and understanding to his work today. He says there's never a bad time to sell a good pig. And that mindset has shaped both his background and his current role serving in the National Pork Board. So I blew through all of that information with Clay in the backstage area before, but I have this one last little fact that I want to drop in here, and we'll have to ask Clay if that is accurate. Actually, let me just bring Clay on the stage so I can. Clay, here you come. We're gonna bring you on the stage with us. Hey, Clay Parrish, welcome. Here
Well,
is
thanks for
this
having
last
me. I'm
little.
excited to hear this.
Okay. Here's this last little fact. You're like, what did I put somewhere on the interwebs that Jen is going to
Right.
use against me? If you had to choose just one food to eat forever, it would be chicken wings. Is that right? Or have you changed?
That was probably 10 years ago. Now, as a member of the National Pork Board, it would obviously be bacon and pork tenderloin.
Obviously. I love that answer. That's
Yeah.
great.
Smart answer.
That's awesome. All right. If I had to choose one food that I was going to eat for the rest of my life, it would be French fries. French fries. Bring me all the fries. I like a potato fried about any way. You can't go wrong. Sabrina, putting you on the spot. What food are you eating for the rest of your life? One food.
Pasta. I'm a carb girl. I will always eat a carb. I could eat pasta anyway with anything.
That's awesome. All right, Clay, we are going to step off the stage and add your slides up here and let you have at it. We are excited to hear your update from the National Pork Board.
Wonderful. Well, I first just want to say thank you to all involved in inviting me to come and give an update as on behalf of the National Pork Board. Uh, and we'll go through some National Pork Board updates, obviously, and get in depth of what the National Pork Board is and what it does for some of you who may not know the answer to some of these questions that I'm going to come up. But I just want to start off and say thank you. And secondly, if anybody has questions throughout the presentation, stop me or type those in the chat, and Jen will get those to me, and we can certainly go over those. But there'll be time for questions at the end as well if I can help in any way. It's actually really neat. I was looking through the schedule and saw Dr. Price here this afternoon. Dr. Price is somebody that I spent a year of college with during my time at Ohio State, and somebody who became a friend there. So it's neat to be able to share as a presenter at the same conference as Dr. Price, certainly in different forms and fashions. But neat that we both grew up in the swine industry and still found a career path through that. So without further ado, I'll get started on my presentation. I know everybody's got a lot to go through today, so don't want to hold anybody up. But first off, I'll tell everybody a little bit more about myself, and I hope everybody can see the screen okay. But obviously, as Jen said, I grew up on a swine farm, a purebred Duroc operation in the northwest corner of Ohio. My family still resides there and run about 75 to 100 sows. Obviously, my focus now with the National Pork Board is the show pig industry, and my family does sell pigs for exhibition across the country, but they also sell breeding stock. And then on the weekends, my family sells straight to consumer freezer pork at a farmer's market in Toledo, Ohio. So I grew up in many facets of the industry. I also, right out of school, worked for the mash off. So I worked in commercial production as well as a production manager, running about 65,000 spaces in Iowa. So I've been lucky enough to see many different aspects of the swine industry, but the show pig industry is certainly where my passion lies. And the gist of my role is I get to work with show pig producers across the country, as well as state pork associations, to help better serve those show pig producers across the country. So enough about me. I really don't enjoy talking about myself, but if anybody does have questions, I'm sure happy to answer those about my background. Um, and We'll go into some checkoff basics. Some of you may not know what the pork checkoff is, what the National Pork Board does. So I'll just high level go over uh, those things. So, as you can see, U.S. pork producers and importers pay 35 cents per $100 of value when pigs are sold and when pigs or pork products are brought into the United States. And what the checkoff does with that money is three simple buckets: research, promotion, and education. Um, so that money that the show, or excuse me, that the pig swine producer is investing into the pork checkoff is put back in to those three buckets so that it can be used by the producer, so that we can better educate consumers, so that we can help promote pork, and so that we can research what the pork producer needs in order to better have a long sustainable pork industry. It is a producer-led board, so there are 15 producers on the board of directors that guide the checkoff spending. Hundreds of producers, though, sit on task force and committees to help guide the work done by the National Pork Board. We're a company made up of 80 different employees that get to do a lot of different fun things. We have several vets that work on research, as well as presenting from a veterinarian side of things as well. So we keep it simple. We say we're consumer focused but producer led. So I'm going to go through some of the current priorities that Pork Checkoff is working on behalf of the producer. And again, stop me if you have any questions as I go through a lot of these priorities. But in 2025, March of 2025, the Pork Board created a new 3-year strategic plan, which will span from now 2026 until 2028. So the first goal is drive and increase the long-term value of pork. How can we make sure that pork is valuable, not just in the United States, but across the world as well, as the United States exports a lot of pork every year. Goal number 2, which is where I really live in my team, the producer and state engagement team, is to create a stronger, more resilient U.S. pork industry through collaboration with state pork associations and producers. So learning from the producers on how to better help them in their operations, which I think obviously from this conference here today, you can tell is important to many others outside the National Pork Board as well. And then the third goal is pretty simple: improve the lives of our pigs and our people. So how do we make sure that the U.S. swine herd is healthier in 2028 than it is right now in 2026? And I know other people will get into foreign animal disease talks as well. Obviously, the foreign animal disease that aren't here, we want to keep out. But we'll also talk about some of the endemic diseases that pork producers deal with here every day. So we'll dive deeper into this first organizational goal. Again, it's pretty simple. How do we get the consumer to choose more pork? I'm going to go through some of the research we did on a high level perspective, but the National Pork Board, I'm sure many people have heard the former slogans, pork the other white meat, pork be inspired. This past year, we launched Taste What Pork Can Do. And this is a marketing campaign to help, again, increase and drive the long-term value of pork. So some of the research that went into this, and this is a map here. As you can see, 80% of the U.S. population and fresh pork consumption is in these blue states here. So 24 states is where 80% of the pork consumption is happening in the U.S. And I guess to go even further, you'll see these 4 orange states. We call them the Big Four: California, Texas, Florida, and New York. That's 33% of the U.S. population. That's where the majority of pork is being consumed. So if you haven't seen the Taste What Pork Can Do campaign where you're at, it's new. It's in its infancy stages, but certainly these 4 orange states are where that is being pushed very, very heavily. So here's just a high level overview of some of the marketing being done on Taste What Pork Can Do. It's very, very digitally focused. Obviously, being on a virtual conference, everybody knows we live in a digital world. So as some of the past marketing campaigns were more directed towards print and print publication, magazines, and so on. This is very, very digitally focused. So everything from the colors to the video that we consume our media on our phone. So again, you can see from some of the taglines and some of the ads, we work with state pork associations. The bottom right there, Montana Pork, that's an ad there. Top right, Pennsylvania Pork, and then I like to also point out there in the middle, we work with industry as well. That's Dickey's Barbecue, a chain barbecue restaurant. So a lot of different ways that Taste What Pork can do is being used, and really excited about the future of that and how that can help drive the long-term value of pork. So next up, again, we'll spend probably a little more time in this goal, because this is really where a lot of my work is being done, and it's create a stronger, more resilient U.S. pork industry through collaborations with state pork associations and producers. And if you could take away one thing from my portion of this conference, it would be get involved with your state pork associations. If you don't know who your state executive is, if you don't know who's on your state pork board, find that out, because they are the ones that are leading the charge in your state in the pork industry. And the best way to have a part of that is to be involved and get to know, whether that's being on the board, being on committees, or just getting to know those board members and those state executives and being involved to make sure that your voice is heard with your operation. Because honestly, state associations are the grassroots level of U.S. pork industry and represent that close relationship between farmers and the employees and the on-farm work that happens day to day on the farm. So really, the state associations and the producer relationship they hold represent that essential connection to the pipeline of emerging leaders and talent, which is essential to the industry as a whole. As my title says, Show Pig Industry Relations Manager, I'm lucky enough to get to work with state pork associations and show pig producers specifically to learn what they need. And again, the money that the National Pork Board uses it's the producer's money. So if you want to have a say in how your money is being used, you need to be involved with your state pork association. So one of my jobs is to help show pig producers get more involved in their state association. So if you are a show pig producer on this call and I can help you in any way, please, by all means, I'd love to have that opportunity. And then the third goal: improve the lives of our pigs and our people. So again, a definition of success here is that the U.S. has a measurably healthier swine herd in 2028 than here today. So focusing on endemic diseases and keeping foreign animal diseases out. So an endemic disease, a great example would be PRRS. If any of you dealt with PRRS, it's certainly an ongoing struggle for pork producers across the country as it just continues to evolve into different strands. So that's one, and PEDV, is another one that pork producers across the country struggle with. So how do we make our herd here in the U.S. healthier in 3 years? And we're going to go through how we got to this goal as a National Pork Board team. So they had the National Pork Board conducted surveys across the country from different demographics of producers. So 564 responses, as you can see, 36 different states, and we had 45 different listening sessions. So really just let producers tell us what they're dealing with on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis that affects their operation. And as you can see from the pie chart there, very, very diverse in the group. Independent producers made up 37%. And then the second biggest chunk is the show pig producer that deals with the same struggles as an independent or a contract grower or a niche or specialty grower as well. So really happy with the responses that were given. 822 total responses, again, from 564 producers. So the National Pork Board thinks that's a great representation of what the pork producer is dealing with on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis that they struggle with. So some tools and initiatives specifically to help producers get to a healthier swine herd. Here's the road to healthier herd. Again, the yellow, we started by figuring out what we needed and then gathering the input. Currently, we're developing the National Swine Health Strategy Plan. We call it the NatStrat. That's going to be unveiled here in a few weeks at Pork Forum in the beginning of March. So, and then again, ultimately, by the end of this 3-year plan, hopefully improve the lives of our pigs and our people. So, how do we make sure that we have healthy pigs to be able to sell to customers, and which ultimately makes the producer's life better? A big step of this is biosecurity, and I know you're probably going to hear about biosecurity from several other presenters, so I'm just going to be high level. But what is biosecurity? It's the steps taken to prevent the introduction of a pathogen into a farm and to reduce the spread once it's present. So pictured here, obviously, this is a little more show pig focused. Walking outside, checking on sows. If you have people from outside that are coming to look, whether that's a customer or somebody that's curious, a simple way to help in your biosecurity efforts are making people wear boots, because you could be at the local gas station and potentially pick up a pathogen that could really devastate your herd at home. Some biosecurity programs that the National Pork Board supports: PQA Plus, Pork Quality Assurance. Again, this was developed in 1989 to help those pork producers really understand the importance of biosecurity. And there's a link here, and at the end, I will have a QR code that'll link you to the show pig page of Pork Checkoff. But we have so many really good printable information that on the website that can help you dive further into biosecurity. And then the Secure Pork Supply Plan it's voluntary, but it's a key component to developing a biosecurity plan. And again, you can go to securepork.org, and I'll show you here on this slide. It really breaks down how to make sure that your herd at home, again, whether you have 5 sows, 100 sows, a few show pigs in the barn, feeder pigs that you're growing out, how to make sure that you are staying diligent in your biosecurity efforts. So again, this is just guidance and collaboration that you can find at securepork.org. And it's really what can we do at the farm level to make sure we're protecting the animals, and again, protecting your investment into those animals as well, whether that's a show pig that you spent money on and are taking to the fair, whether that's your bred sow you bought, or whether that is your feeder pigs that you purchased to feed out, to either feed your family or sell locally. That is your investment, and this Secure Pork Supply Plan can really be a great resource for any producer that is looking for help. My next few slides are going to be show pig focused biosecurity. So whether you are, maybe you help locally at the county fair, maybe you help put on a jackpot show, maybe you help a local family with their project for the fair. I think these are ways that we can keep pigs and people healthy, and honestly help the reputation of the show pig industry across the whole swine industry spectrum. Because something that I've learned through my time as a in the industry is that people have a negative connotation sometimes of the show pig industry, and they think that all of the bugs that are being passed around the country from a swine perspective are from the show pig industry. And I can tell you that's categorically false, because I know the show pig producer and the show pig exhibitor are doing the things that are doing their due diligence to make sure that they are not spreading any endemic diseases. So first, again, if you're putting on an exhibition, maybe you're putting on a pig sale locally, what can you do to ensure that you're being diligent about your biosecurity? First, and you'll get to talk with Dr. Price later, get in contact with a veterinarian, and not just a local veterinarian that you've worked with. Make sure it's a veterinarian that has knowledge of the swine industry. I know that can be hard to find, but Dr. Price is going to be a great resource for you, and he'll be able to probably go in depth about finding other vets and going through the VCPR, vet client patient relationship, and making sure you have a relationship with a vet that understands the swine industry. So again, before the event, engage with a vet, talk about animal check-in, talk about health evaluations and a biosecurity plan. Establish an area on the grounds or a plan of action if an animal does get sick. because the quickest way to shut down the show pig industry is for there to be an outbreak, and really get that negative connotation going, whether that's, again, a foreign animal disease or whether that's an endemic disease that ravages a show. So just, again, make sure all your staff and all your exhibitors understand the importance of biosecurity before the event. During the event, make sure you have a proper health certificate. If you're traveling with an animal, make sure that you have done your due diligence with your vet and you have the proper health certifications to cross state lines or to move animals. Obviously, avoid entering trailers and wash your hands between going in and out of your trailer. Move any sick pigs to your isolation and follow strict biosecurity measures when there is a sick pig. The biggest thing I tell people is, if your pig's sick, don't bring it to a pig show. No matter how well you think he'll do or how important the project is, if you bring a sick pig to a show, you're just asking for trouble. And then obviously, recommendations for isolation: keep pigs away. Obviously, we'd like to have them as far away as possible. If you can get them away off the grounds and take them back to your home, that would be obviously the number one choice. But if you can't, make sure you're finding a place that is far away from other animals. Make sure you're changing boots. Make sure you're changing clothes if you do have a sick animal. All supplies and equipment should be thoroughly cleaned after the event. Obviously, get a disinfectant that works for you. Talk with your vet. Make sure that after the event, everything is clean and disinfected. Disposable coveralls and boots are great for this. Obviously, easy to find. Find them online or at your local farm supply store. For the exhibitor, so say whether you're a producer or somebody that has some show pigs on this conference, but I think it's important to note, if you're selling show pigs as a producer to a young exhibitor, you may be the person they call to ask, that the exhibitor calls to ask when they have questions about their pig's health. They may not have a relationship with their vet. You may be their first line of defense when they have an issue. Again, maybe their county extension agent isn't aware or isn't knowledgeable about the swine industry. The producer should be, and it's very important that the producer takes accountability for the longevity and the sustainability of the industry. So again, for an exhibitor before the event, and again at the end of this, I will give you a link to some great material that you can use on your farm or locally. That could certainly help. But before the event, again, it's going to be a common theme. Talk to your vet. Make sure you understand the rules to getting into the show. Some events require there to be blood drawn and tests before you can go. Make sure you have the proper health certificate. Make sure you have an 840 tag in. Get a premise identification number, a PIN number for your farm. Again, even if you have 1 pig, 5 pigs, 10 pigs, it doesn't matter. Get a PIN so that if something were to happen, we can track where that location is with your state. And then individual IDs for each pig. Get an 840 tag. Get your RFID tags. Again, you can get on the National Pork Board website and find an easy way to get those RFID tags. Clean and disinfect all equipment. So again, tell those exhibitors when they get home, clean their buckets, clean their sprayers. Anything that they used at a show should be disinfected so that they're not bringing any bugs home with them from the show. And again, pretty simple. If your pig or you are sick, don't show up to the sale. Don't show up to the event. It may be tough, but you're probably not going to do well with a sick pig anyways. But certainly, it's not going to be a great look if you show up to this event and your pig is not healthy. So during the event, keep your pets at home. This seems like a simple one, but pets are a big spreader of disease. So don't bring your dog to the pig show. Don't bring your cats to the pig show. They can certainly be a carrier of any or of a lot of swine diseases and bringing something back home. Make sure your pigs are healthy at the show. You should be anyways, but make sure that your pig isn't getting ill at the show. If it is, talk to the vet that's at the show. Talk to the people running the show. Get that pig to isolation if you have any issues. Don't share equipment with other exhibitors. If you bring your bucket, try not to share that bucket with somebody whose pigs are from a different area than yours. And make sure you're keeping your area clean. You should anyways, just because it's good practice. But if your pig has made a mess in his pen, clean the manure, fresh bedding, fresh shavings can certainly help mitigate the spread of disease. And then after the event, isolate. Don't bring pigs that have been to a show back to your herd. Make sure they're isolated separately. They may not show signs of illness, but they may be carrying a bug that you don't want the rest of your herd to have. And complete chores for these pigs in isolation separately. So have separate clothes and separate shoes or boots in order to make sure that bugs stay separated. Monitor pigs daily, which you should be doing anyways as a producer. Next, this will be some additional resources. Again, these are on the website that whether you're weighing in or tagging, whether you're having a sale, something for the exhibitor, I think these are great resources to have that you can print out. You can give to your local extension agent to maybe help them. You can have in your barn for an exhibitor just to help them stay informed about the struggles that could come with an outbreak of disease. I think this is a great opportunity to just stay informed with these resources. And we have much more on the website than just these three, but these three, I think, stay pertinent to the show pig industry. One of the big takeaways, and as I've been giving presentations for the last 12 weeks in this role, the biggest thing that you can take away is that you're important to the checkoff, whether you have 2 feeder pigs, whether you have 5 sows, whether you're a commercial operation, whether you're raising some show pigs to sell locally, you're important. It's your checkoff dollars that we use to go to work for you to hopefully create opportunities for you as the producer to have a growing business, to have a sustainable business. For me specifically, this role shows that the National Pork Board cares about the show pig industry. So for those of you who are show pig focused, the National Pork Board doesn't just care about the top 10 producers across the country. They care about everybody who is a swine producer. Again, from two pigs to 100 pigs, it doesn't matter, because the consumer or the public that you may deal with, that may be the only interaction that somebody that doesn't have a lot of knowledge about agriculture or the swine industry, that may be their only interaction with a potential swine producer. So we want to make sure that they have a positive interaction with the swine producer, and so that they can spread the word that producers across the country are making a great product in pork. They're making a great product that can really make a difference in the world of nutrition and protein. So if you can take away one thing, it's to know that you're important. And again, show pig industry focused here for me, because this is my role and what I was kind of asked to speak upon. But the National Pork Board supports the show pig industry in several ways. We have partnerships with showpig.com, junior organizations like the National Junior Swine Association and Team Purebred, lots of scholarship opportunities for young people looking to get into the swine industry. Because at the end of the day, our talent pipeline comes from kids who show pigs. And our future leaders are those who can spread the word of the pork industry, are usually those who had the opportunity to step into the show ring and show a project. As many of you know, in agriculture, we're not getting younger. The farmer is not, the average age of a farmer is not getting much younger. So who is going to be the next swine producer to help feed the world? It most likely will be somebody who had the opportunity to have a pig project locally, or that took those pigs to a national event as well. So the National Pork Board dumps a lot of money and resources into this portion as well, because we understand the opportunity that it has to help shape the mind of young people in order to make them very good advocates for the swine industry. Again, we tell everybody this. It's important that whether these young people that had a good experience showing livestock go into agriculture or not, they're the voice for agriculture. Whether they become a lawyer, a doctor, maybe they moved to the city of Chicago and have a marketing job for a large company. If they had the opportunity to have a livestock project, they are going to tell people about the good work that happens in the world of agriculture and that farmers do. So again, we stay very tied in to the show pig industry through these ways. There's a QR code there that you can see. That's our webpage for show pig producers. If you're looking for show pig information from the pork checkoff, I certainly would check that out. Some professional development opportunities that the checkoff take part in. The Pork Industry Immersion Program, a really neat opportunity. Again, if you're listening or know people who could be involved in these, I would tell you to get involved with your state pork association, because they are the ones who usually bring names to the National Pork Board. But this PIIP program is a 2-year program that is designed to accelerate development of early career talent. So it's 2 years in total, and you'll spend 8 months with the National Pork Board, 8 months with NPPC, National Pork Producers Council, and then 8 months with a state association. So you really get all aspects of leadership in the pork industry. So it's a great opportunity, and you're not just an intern; you are a full-time employee with each of these organizations. So currently, right now, Mackenzie, who is in the National Pork Board portion of this program, is getting ready to head off to Washington, D.C. for MPPC's portion. And she's been wonderful, and you get a full project to take on and become a part of the team. But so there's been 3 of these PIIP program participants. All 3 were show pig kids that showed a pig growing up that got the fire in them to work in the pork industry. And then another great opportunity is the PLI, Pork Leadership Institute. It's comprehensive training that happens to help you learn more about the pork industry, not just here in the United States, but globally. They do take an international trip. You get communication and media training, and you get to network with fellow hog producers across the country. So if you have interest in those, again, get in touch with your state pork association and get involved. And there's some great opportunities there. Again, I'm rounding out here, but I just want everybody to know, get involved is the biggest thing you can do with your state pork association. If you want your voice to be heard, or you have questions that can be answered by a pork board from your state perspective, if they don't know who you are, they're not going to be able to help you. If you get vocal and ask questions, you will certainly be able, and I know they will want to help you. And I know from a National Pork Board perspective, we feel the same way. So if you want to stay in touch, scan this QR code here. You can subscribe to our weekly emails, brief overview of what's happening with Checkoff each week. So that's really all I had from my perspective. Again, I'd like to say thank you to everybody who invited me to be a part of this, just to give a little insight of what's going on at the National Pork Board. And I certainly could try to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you so much, Clay. We really appreciate it. So there was a
Yeah.
question that was dropped in the chat. Tammy is asking,
Wonderful.
how long should a new pig be put in isolation before introducing them to other pigs? Now, we can ask you this question, but I think that's a question we can probably carry across the conference as well. So tell us your thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Dr. Price will probably be the best person to answer this. From my perspective, it's more of a testing. Obviously, 6 weeks I certainly think is good, but before you introduce that pig, I would get it tested to make sure that they're not bringing anything into your herd. So you can do rope tests, blood tests. Work with your vet to do that, because they'll send that off. But testing is going to be the best way to ensure that you don't bring anything back. But 4, 6, 8 weeks, I think it all depends on where you're at in the country, the time of year that it is. Obviously, pigs can be susceptible based upon the weather and the temperature outside. So
definitely
work with your vet, and I think Dr. Price will probably tell you the same thing. But the only way to ensure you're not bringing anything in is to test.
Okay. So I learned a couple things from you. One, pets. Duh. I had never even thought about that, but I see dogs at pig shows all the time.
Yep.
And
Yep.
obviously, they are very easily bringing stuff in, because I'm pretty sure you're not asking your dogs to step in Synergize before they go into the barn, right?
Yep. Exactly right. That's exactly right.
And not that you should either, because that's not good for them, I'm sure. But
Right. Pets are great.
But
we
like
love pets. I
missing-
love my dog, but at a pig show, maybe not the best place to have that animal. Just you don't know what they could pick up. It could be as little as a shaving between his paw that he takes
Mm-hmm.
back. So many, so there's just a big opportunity for mishap with pets. And whether you're at a pig show or whether you're bringing your pet to the local county fair for something, I just there's a lot of opportunity for something to go wrong with that. And one of the things you'll hear in a commercial setting uh, a lot is birds.
Mm-hmm.
Birds are big carriers of pathogens. So obviously, a lot of people probably on this conference are raising pigs outside, which is great. But make sure that if you see a lot of birds, maybe find a way to take care of those pests, because birds are huge carriers of pathogens.
Yeah. Sabrina, what were you going to say? What were you going to add to that?
Oh, I was going to say, I think it is an opportunity to maybe create disposable boot covers for dogs, though. Definitely don't have
Yeah.
them step in
Yeah.
disinfectant, but some boot covers I think might be a good idea.
Is that your next project? I just
There's a
see it
business.
coming. You're going to trademark pet boot covers.
Yes.
That's right.
Catch me on Shark Tank next week.
Awesome. I love it. That's great. Well, Clay, I think that kind of wraps up our questions for you. Oh, I told you I'd learned two things. PIIP, had no idea that was a thing, but
Yeah.
that's a really cool program.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. And all three. So the first individual who went through that program now works for National Pork Producers Council as a lobbyist.
Okay.
The second is Seth Mitchell, he is now the executive director of Nebraska Pork. And then Mackenzie is she's in the middle of it right now. She's who I've gotten to work with, and she's been great. And I'm sure, will find a great career in pork. So good opportunity if you're wanting to learn more, whether you're fresh out of school or a few years out and want to get involved. Again, it's a full-time job. So for 2 years, you will get industry experience, hands-on learning, and it's just a great opportunity to kind of fast track your way to leadership in the pork industry.
I think that's amazing. I think it's really cool that there are opportunities to be involved in this industry, from whether you've got one pig in your backyard,
Yeah.
or whether or not you're a lobbyist in Washington, D.C., whether or not you're a researcher at The Ohio State University, or whether or not you are running the National Pork Board. There's just a lot of, there's so many ways and so many people that are important to this pork industry.
Right. All right. And if you don't get involved, you won't know about all the opportunities. So again, I know I probably sound like a broken record, but the best way to stay informed is to be involved with your state pork associations. And if you don't have a relationship with your state pork association, do that, because as I've learned living in Ohio, Cheryl Day here in Ohio does great work. The OPIG circuit from a show pig perspective is great. So get involved, stay involved. Be on committees, be on boards. That's how your voice can be heard. And again, whether you have one pig or 1,000 or 10,000, however many it is, your voice matters to those state pork associations.
And if that's the only thing that people hear from you today, and I don't think that is, but I think that that's so valuable, because how often do you just think, well, I just have one pig, it doesn't really matter. I'm not important. I'm not part of this. I have no voice. And yet that's not true. People, the pork associations want to hear from you.
Yep.
So.
Yep. You are who the consumer can know. Again, whether you have one or thousands, you are who your local consumer can get to know, to hopefully trust that if you're doing things correctly as a producer, that people across the country are doing things correctly as producers, because pork is a safe, nutritious protein that we're proud to represent.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Clay. We appreciate you being here with us, and we are so grateful for the time that you've given us.
Yeah, absolutely. If I can be of any help to anybody, please reach out. You can find my information on the National Pork Board website. From a show pig perspective, I will do all I can to be a wealth of knowledge.
Awesome. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.